Welcome back, everyone. So I'm here with Amy. She is a bikini competitor, and we are going to go through a couple Q&A questions that we both receive as a coach and also as a competitor. So, hey, what's up, Amy? How you doing?
Hi, thanks so much for having me join you today.
Awesome. So let's go ahead and go right to it.
Okay, the first question that we both get a lot and very frequently is, you're a trainer, so why do you have a coach, and do I need a coach if I want to compete? So being a trainer is much different than being a coach. When you talk about doing a competition, it's a very specific way of training. And so that is why I myself reached out to a coach who is familiar with the type of nutrition and training that's involved to get competition ready. Being a trainer is great, but I also needed that accountability, like we all do, to get ready for my show. It gets very specific in terms of your nutrition plan, and so that is why I sought out a coach. The next question is, do you have stretch marks or cellulite? And the answer to that is, I am a human and I am a woman, and I myself have had some weight gain and weight loss, so yes, I do have both of those things. And people are very worried, like if they want to compete, can they compete if they don't have the perfect body? I think that what that question really is. Do I have to have a perfect body to compete? And the answer is absolutely not. You just really have to have confidence, and as you go further into your program, both of those things happen, right? I mean, you lose cellulite, the stretch marks diminish, and Korin has a lot of experience, I know, with women who have maybe loose skin. I fortunately do not have that, but I know that's a problem with women, especially who have children.
And another thing too that I like to add too is, when it comes to competing, you don't have to wait till you have like the perfect body. I mean, there's multiple federations, there's multiple levels. So I always say it's good to get the experience. You know, start off with an easy show, start off with a small show, and then just build your way up as you go.
So the next question is, what does my nutrition look like, especially as a vegan competitor, and how do you get enough protein? The way that we do my plan is we count macros and macronutrients, and so it really isn't that much different than a regular competitor's nutrition plan in that aspect. In terms of getting protein, I get plenty of protein. There are many vegan protein sources. The plan changes slightly throughout the duration. For example, if it's a 12-week plan, at the beginning it may look one way, and then toward the end it does get a little bit different toward the end of leading up to the show. And
it's very possible to compete and also do this as an athlete, because when it comes to food, I mean, there's a lot of protein, because that's usually the question. The question is, where can you receive the protein? Where can I get the protein? There's a lot of protein in multiple different types of food sources. When you're on a plant-based lifestyle, you know, you're talking about tempeh, you're talking about tofu, seitan, legumes, even the fruits and vegetables. When you have an abundance of all these different types of foods, you're not just going to get your protein, but you're also going to get a lot of micronutrients, a lot of vitamins, and also minerals as well. So this is what you want to do when you're competing. It's not about just looking good, but you want to feel good. You want to make sure you're getting all the nutrition that you need for everything you're doing, so you feel optimal, you feel the best.
So the next question is, how do I get motivated and how do I stay motivated? And that question for me it's a personal question for everyone, honestly, and that's something only you can answer. For us and for me, for both of us, it is because we want to represent the vegan lifestyle and show people what can be achieved on a plant-based diet. It's very important when you're competing that you have a strong why, because it's very difficult on your time and there are a lot of demands. And so you have to really find that passion, and I actually write it down and I have it so that I can refer to it when times are tough, because it does take a lot of time and effort to be a competitor, and I could think of no better way to display what vegans can do than being in the bodybuilding world, where there are so many misconceptions about what you have to do to get there.
I'll say a little few words about that question too, because I compete myself, and through competition, when it comes to motivation, is really the why. Like Amy said, it's definitely the why. So like with me, my why is the same thing. It's mostly I want to be a great representative, not just to my clients, but to everyone out there when it comes to living a plant-based lifestyle, because it is a huge misconception when it comes to the sport and to the world itself. You know, it's not just the sport, but also the world. A lot of people think that you can't perform well, or you can't be fit, you can't build muscle, from plants, you know, and that's not true. So this is why I compete, to really break all those myths, break the lies, and really show people that it's a very healthy lifestyle, and it's very possible to achieve your goals.
How important is nutrition when you're competing?
When it comes to nutrition, it plays about 80%. 20% is really just the working out. The 80% is going to be the nutrition, just because when it comes to the meals, this is something that you have to do every single day. I mean, you have to put the food in front of work, in front of like life crisis. Like, you have to really prepare yourself to change your lifestyle, especially with the food. And a lot of people don't realize how much food really plays in your life. You know, it plays a huge role when it comes to like family gatherings, you know, hanging out with your friends, going out to party, whatever the case can be. Like, it definitely plays a huge part. So definitely being prepared and sacrificing all those fun stuff to be able to prepare yourself to get ready for shows and be able to have these meals ready everywhere you go is going to be dramatic for some, but for others like myself, I've been doing this for about 5 years, and it's easy because I know when I want to hang out with my friends, or if I want to go out, I already have food prepared, or I've already eaten before I went out. So I won't be like the drag of the party or the elephant in the room, you can say.
I think too, it's important to note that we've talked about this. You know, Korin is my coach, so he knows everything I tell him that he needs to know. And we talk a lot about nutrition, and this includes if you're traveling, or, you know, we live in Florida. I had to evacuate from a hurricane last year. I had to bring all my food with me. Yeah. I had a death in the family. I had to bring all of my food with me. And on top of that, I'm vegan, so I can't call a restaurant and say, oh, just throw on 6 ounces of chicken and half a cup of rice. So you really do have to plan for it. This may sound a little over the top to the average person, but it's really not. Once you find other competitors and coaches who are understanding and compassionate, you know, there are times when this is why we count macros, when you might have to just say, I have to order from the menu and make it fit into my plan. As you get closer to the show, though, wouldn't you say, Korin, that it becomes less flexible for people? How do I choose a federation to compete in?
So with the federations, I mean, as a coach, what I usually do is I always look at the previous contestants. So I look at the previous contestants to see the level, like see what type of people they're actually bringing on stage. Because depending on the experience level of the people I'm training, I don't want to put them into something that's really hard, because then it's just going to demotivate. It's really going to demotivate the client, and it's not going to end up well. You know, it's like, you know, let's say Olympia, or, you know, Olympia, or the Arnold Classics. Like, these are big shows, and I don't want to put like someone who's brand new into a level that huge. You know, I don't want to crush someone's dreams. So I always put them in something smaller, because you're allowed, that client or that individual is allowed to make mistakes. Like, people are just going to make mistakes, you know, and everyone's not perfect in the very beginning. So that's what I usually do. I look at the level of the show, look at the contestants' levels, and then I pick the show according to that. And then from there, like I said previously, then I build them up from each show, and how they perform from each show and their progress and stuff like that.
I would add to that as well. A lot of people ask, like, how do you pick what you want to compete in as a bikini competitor? We're talking about bikini competing, right? Yeah. So there are different, they break us up into different groups, right? Based on your height, and based on your age, and based on your, like, if you've never competed before. And that's why it's important to do research on shows. You know, look and see what shows are going on around you, and maybe look online and look at the competitors from previous years. Is it a realistic show for you to do? But on the other hand, don't sell yourself short, right? I mean, that's what I would tell people too, because in my second show, I was able to get my pro card. And so, you don't want to get so intimidated that you intimidate yourself out of a show, but you also want to be realistic in terms of how long you've been training for. If it's like less than a year, then maybe you want to have more realistic expectations and not, like you said, aim for some of those really big name shows right away.
Shows, yeah. All right, so that's it for the Q&A. I hope everyone enjoyed everything that we spoke about today. If you're interested with more about meal prep, workout plans, or if you're looking for a coach and you want to train with myself, please go to the description box down below or go to bodyhdfitness.com, and also subscribe and hit that like button, because that's really important right now when it comes to YouTube. So please hit and like that button. But with that said, I hope everyone has a good day and peace out.